Hello, my name is Carlos Melian. I've been asked to do a short video tour of my studio. I live and work in Chicago, specifically in the Avondale neighborhood. I've been here 18 years. In Chicago I've been here 30 years, but in this studio I've been here 18 years. I'm going to pan around a little bit just so you can see the space, get a sense of it. I hope you can get a sense of it. It's a little bit cluttered right now because I have a lot of work out. And I need to figure out some storage my storage situation. So it's in a storefront like I said, in Avondale. It's about 1,500 square feet, and it's, for me, the studio space is such an important part of my life that I think for most artists you need to make sure that it's conducive to making work. Whether it's palatial studio or small apartment studio or whatever, it doesn't really matter. As long as you can be there, be happy, and do some work, that's what you want. So for me, I do large paintings, so I clearly have some physical concerns about my studio, but as you can see back there, I do my own frames, I stretch my own canvas, build my own stretchers, so you see some woodworking equipment back there. But in general, it's really just a space for me to come to every day, and I do work every day. I am now retired from I used to be Dean of Libraries at Northeastern Illinois University, and I retired 3 years ago, but I've been, so there's 40 years of work in this building right now. So I'm going to go and talk a little bit about the work I'm doing right now. And so just give me a second to get around my camera. So the thing that I'm really interested in, and as you see here, there's a lot of work up here, is changing the act of viewing from viewing only to comparing. So I'm really concerned about comparing, setting up situations on paintings where two objects are compared or two panels are compared. A lot of this work is in multi-panels. That's why you see a lot of work here, because some of it are 2 or 3 pieces that we put together. So what you see here is work from, this work here is from December, and then this work here, which I'll get to in a second, is from a week ago. The other thing I'm really concerned about is setting up rules to paint. So the rules I have are very simple, and they're just made up, but I want the work to be simple acts. You take a line, you cut it, you double it, you make it longer, wider, whatever, and then you put it next to another one. Those simple acts, to me, are what generate compelling images. So that's what I do. These series here are concerned with lines and curves, and I set up situations where I specifically note the length of them, I copy them, and generate some kind of comparison between those. And also internally within the painting, there's other sets of rules, right? So one set of rules that I've been using for quite a while now is that the image you see has to touch the edge of the canvas one time, and that's to sort of promote this sort of non-compositional part of it. There's no necessity for a special composition. As long as you hit the edge of the canvas, you're maxed out. And so that's what I've been doing. So as you see in this painting here, the curve is here. It's 152 inches, and it hits the top, it hits the bottom, the side, and down here, if you note, the end of the curve hits both the bottom and the side. Lately I've been trying to minimize the painting part of this. I'm trying to make it more like drawings with minimal amount of painting. So in this case, you see this raw canvas, you see pencil lines, and then the only painting is the background, which is the pink part, which is off background and part of the object, the line, and this line, this rectangle. The sense that this is 152 inches, like I said, and this rectangle, and this rectangle add up to 152 inches. So again, you set up this comparison with a curve. If you split it up and straighten it, you'll get the same amount of distance. So the title to this work, which all my work is untitled, in caps, so untitled, and then in parentheses I explain what it is. So in this case, it's untitled, parentheses, 152-inch curve, split into 3 segments, and straightened. So, so again, there's this sense of comparison across the plane. This was made last December. Bring you here to this piece, and this is I finished this about a week ago, and I'm not quite sure. I'm not settled on it yet. That's the way I work. I finish something and then I sit with it for a while. Sometimes a couple of days, sometimes a week, sometimes a month, and then I decide whether it's done or it needs to be redone or thrown away. Basically, those are the options you have. I have anyway. So this is the same concept there. In this case, as you see, for this was made December. This was made last week. It's progressed into multiple curves as opposed to one curve. Multiple curves, all the same size. So these are 36-inch long curves in lines. And to me, it's lines or curves that have been straightened out. So there's 13 of these now. And the other rule I adopted here. In addition to the rule where you have to touch each side, as you can see in here, you can see here, and you can see here, the other rule I've adopted for this set, and I've got several going on right now, for this set of paintings is they also have to touch each other, at least once, right? So each of these curves, lines, touch another curved line, and set up these areas of shapes. Like here's a shape, but it's caused by touching the 2 curves. The other thing I'm very interested in is this sort of contradiction between a foreground and background. So as you see here, this blue, which is mainly the background, the color of the painting, is also a foreground, right? These curves are also blue, they're the same color. And then up here, the background changes to this tan, but it's also the same color as this foreground, this object. Over here, it's purple. It's a purple background all of a sudden. It's still background here because here's the foreground, and then that doesn't touch any object, but here's one with just object that doesn't touch any. It touches other objects, but doesn't touch it's not the same color as the background. And here there's background and foreground, same color. This little thing here is basically just background as well, although it's different than this one because it's not on the edge, and it looks like a shape, and that's what I like about it. I draw these out, as you can see all this white paper out here. I draw these out full scale, and just so I know what I can expect when I'm drawing them on canvas. I don't want to get there and have a big hole in my canvas that I can't figure out what to put in there. So I draw them out first, and then I redraw them on the canvas, and I then start doing the painting. Regarding the color, I'm not a colorist. I'm not interested in color theory. I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. So yes, I get to the color a certain way, just kind of subjectively, but I'm not investigating color per se. I'm not interested in that. So the color is kind of arbitrary, but I get there at some point. With a series of viewing, thinking, and making sure it kind of looks the way I want it to look. But that's all about the color. As you can see, I also do a lot of drawings. I do a lot of these 24 by 36 drawings. Some are studies for the bigger paintings, some are just drawings on themselves. So I'm pretty busy. Like I said, I work every day. I have a lot of work going on at the same time. I like having 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. And I've been doing that for many, many years. So I hope you like this little show. And please come see the show in October. And thank you for coming.